Hello again, this is Jeremy Arney, interim leader of the Canadian Action Party. And there was a question from Al in Edmonton concerning Israel. Particularly, his question was concerning Zionism. Well, this is one of those, what you might call awkward questions. Most people tend to shy away from it, thinking that no matter what they say, they're wrong and someone's going to jump down their throat. Well, I'm not particularly afraid of that happening to me because it's not really something that bothers me that much. People want to jump down my throat, go ahead. So I should say here that I'm not specifically talking for everybody in the Canadian Action Party when I start talking about Zionism. Zionism started, nearly a century ago now, and it was a political religious movement to take control of governments around the world through controlling the ingredients of the government, which is senators, congressmen, MPs, MLAs, whatever, all the way around the world, not just here. There was lots of money. The vast majority of the original Zionists were of the Jewish faith, which is why they get accused of being the founders of it, which they probably are. Whether they're the only ones who maintain it, I doubt it, because anybody who takes money from the Zionists and does what they're told then becomes a Zionist. So there's lots of people around who are non-Jews who are Zionists. Now, if that sounds a little bit against the Jews, it's not. I have absolutely nothing against Jewish people. I am not anti-Semitic. Some of my best friends are Jews. I've been to even something called a bat mitzvah, which most people don't know what that is. It's a bar mitzvah for girls. Fascinating. And no, I don't have any problem. I never have had any problem with the Jewish people. However, I cannot say the same for the state of Israel, which does not represent the Jewish people any more than the Harper administration represents the people of Canada. You can't. They're so similar in effect. It's not funny. The state of Israel is probably the second largest terrorist organization in my mind in the world. The first being, of course, the Americans, with their CIA interference in every country in the world and their multiple bases, and they can't keep their fingers out of anything, including us. I mean, do you know that they have drones coming over the border all the time looking at us, trying to find terrorists? I mean, okay, what are they looking for? Lines of men in black clothes and black hats marching towards the border? Don't know, but they do have the drones. There's an FBI office right there in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're so intermingled with them, it's not even funny. As far as Israel's actions and terrorism, well, I mean, just look at the Gaza. There is no way that anybody with the slightest touch of compassion cannot watch what's gone on there and be absolutely appalled at the action. And do I blame my Jewish friends for that? Not at all. It's got nothing to do with them at all. Most of them feel the same. No, it's not right. Wars all over the place are wrong. I mean, right now Harper is taking us into Iraq. He wanted to go in the first time when Bush wanted to lead us in there, and he was furious that it didn't happen. He even wrote a letter with, I believe, Stockwell Day, saying that Chrétien's ideas were not the idea of Canadians. Not true. Absolutely not true. In the Parliament the other day, one of the MPs stood up and was boasting that our now military action of having fighter planes operating in a bombing capacity in Iraq is the first time ever that Parliament has agreed to such thing. Wrong. The first time the Parliament actually agreed to that in recent history is Libya. And look what we did to Libya under the Canadian leadership. We went in and totally destroyed a country whose standard of living was so far above ours that it's not even funny. Now what are they? They've got a whole bunch of tribal organizations, if you wish, all fighting each other to see who's going to take control. Democracy, which we were supposed to give them? Forget it. They don't have any idea what's going on over there. And we're still talking about bringing democracy. Come on, we don't have democracy here at home. So I know we started off on this thing about Zionism and what have you. We've rolled it a little bit, and we've covered the aspect of war, which we are now at, and I do not approve of that. If it goes on for the length of time it's supposed to go on, and we have mission creep, my grandsons aged 10, 11, 12 and 13 will probably be being forced to join the army to go and fight in that area, and I think that is the most appalling thing I can imagine. Okay, so that was for Al out of Edmonton, who asked that question about Zionism, and I wandered all over the place. So the upshot is that Canadian Action Party is a people party. So what you want us to do about things like that is what we would have to do, because you tell us what to do. But really, because it's similar to a cancer, as I mentioned before, Harper's Conservative administration, the answer really is to how do we get to change the way they think, to change the way they act, to find an antidote that will satisfy their lust for power, and yet at the same time not make them out to be totally, absolutely wrong, even though we may think they are. Making people wrong is one of the worst things we can do, and I confess freely I'm guilty of it. I don't know how many times I've tried to make Harper wrong, and what has it got for me? Not very much. He's still being the same miserable fellow he has been ever since he got into control. So yes, it's a very difficult situation, and we need to learn to deal with it with forethought and compassion, and not necessarily at the end of a gun or the hangman's noose. For what it's worth, those are my thoughts on that. Thank you.